Hello and welcome back. I'm really excited for today's session. In my last video, we worked on what I call a skill or learning boulder, and today I'm pretty much going to be doing the exact opposite. So they recently reset what's called the TBA room in my gym, and for those of you who don't know, I live in a town called Chattanooga, Tennessee. For a long time, the only climbing gym in Chattanooga was this small hole-in-the-wall facility called the Tennessee Bouldering Authority, or TBA for short, and it was very much old school vibes, a lot of hard boulders, really known for its just kind of straightforward, powerful style, because that really mimics the climbing style for the outdoor boulders in the area, which is sandstone climbing.
And the South is definitely known for being steep and powerful, involving big moves on decent holds, getting dynamic, that kind of thing. So when TBA closed and the new gym Synergy was built, they wanted to pay homage to the OG Chattanooga gym by dedicating a room to the TBA style.
So we're going to be climbing in there today, and I'm excited to take you through the new set.
Here are the walls. There's a 20 degree, a 45 degree, and a 60 degree wall, and you can see that they still use the taping system. In this gym, they use color tags for circuit grading, and in the TBA room, they use the base color of tape to note that grade. So this pink hold climb is a white tag, and then there are yellow tags and blue tags as well. I'm gonna warm up in the regular gym on some red and green tags, and then I will meet you back here to hop on the white tags. So while I climb on these first white tags, I'm going to walk you through my plan for the session. So I like to start on the 20 degree wall just to warm up into the style on a less steep angle rather than jumping right in. And then I'll make my way over to the 45 and the 60 degree wall. I think the best name for this session that I'm doing today is what I would call a volume session, and there are a number of different times and reasons to do a session like this, which I can talk about in future videos, but for myself right now, it's mostly because I'm climbing outside a good bit, and when I'm climbing outside and I'm projecting hard boulders, I really don't get a ton of volume. It's usually me trying one or two really hard moves, resting for a long time in between, and so it's nice to come into the gym and to be able to get some more moves in and make sure I'm keeping my capacity up. All right, those first climbs were a nice wake up. I think you might have been able to see I was trying to kind of finesse my way through some of the moves, and sometimes when I haven't climbed in the TBA in a while, I kind of forget that you need to just commit and go for things and be snappy. So nice reintroduction to the TBA room. Even though this is a volume session, I still want to be really intentional with my attempts and make sure that I'm still doing quality work on the wall. So for these white tags, these are about 4 to 5 grades below my normal projecting level at this gym, or 2 colored tag levels below. And so I'm really trying to flash as many of these climbs as I can.
All right, first fall of the day. I think I either need to just commit to that bump a little more, so I'm gonna rest and get back on it and see. I don't think I did it right.
That's awesome. Good shot.
One thing that was interesting about this session is that I definitely noticed myself still being pretty hesitant and having a little bit of trouble reading some of these steeper climbs. And when reflecting on why that could be, it is an interesting outdoor season here in Chattanooga where it's not quite the best bouldering conditions because it's warming up, but we're not quite into the full swing of sport climbing weather. So I've been bouncing back and forth between the two a little bit. When it comes to a performance focus, it's definitely still on bouldering, and with the sport climbing, I'm more focused on just trying to build some endurance as I prepare to transition into a more full sport climbing season. But I do think that the sport climbing is showing through a little bit in the way that I'm approaching these climbs, because it is a bit more conservative, it is a little bit more cautious, which I don't feel like I climb in that style as much when I am in full bouldering mode. So just an interesting observation for myself.
All right, that was all of the white tags. I flashed all except one of them. So we're gonna move on to yellows and see how they treat us. 3 tries.
Okay.
Then if I don't do it.
That's a lot. That's 24 tries. You take 3 on all of them.
But I'll take 3 of them.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I'm trying to be really intentional with each of my attempts on each climb, and so that's why I'm keeping my attempts to only 3 per boulder. The goal here is to climb on a good number of different climbs and not necessarily get sucked into a project. I've started this vlog series at an interesting time because, like I said, that it's a bit of a transitional season here in Chattanooga. We'll get some really warm days where sport climbing is the better option, and then we'll also get some colder days where bouldering is the better option. So I'm excited to continue vlogging once I get into a more, quote, traditional in-season or off-season throughout the year so that I can really show you the purpose of each of the workouts that I'm doing. But we're, like I said, in this transitional season where priorities aren't necessarily quite as clear, so I'm going to do my best to continue to explain the purpose of this session and then also just show you a number of different types of sessions in future videos. During these transitional periods where the priorities aren't necessarily super clear, and when I say priorities, I mean either a performance priority or a training priority, there's a mix of the two. So we're coming off of a bouldering season where I'm still trying to send some boulders, but it's not necessarily the ideal conditions. And I'm also trying to train some and prepare for a sport climbing season. So there's a mix of training and performance. purpose of this bouldering volume session during this transitional period is to both keep up my power with the bouldering, but also to maintain a level of capacity. So I still have power for the boulders that I'm trying, but also knowing that I am going to be embarking on sport climbing, which is going to require a higher level of capacity and endurance. And so finding a balance between those two and having a session that is able to train both. As I'm nearing the end of my session here, I can tell that this is a climb that I'm not necessarily going to be able to send in just 3 tries. So I decided to use my 3rd try to check out the rest of the climb and figure out the beta so that I can come back when I'm doing more of a projecting session and have a better chance of finishing it up.
Since this is the last climb and I do still have a little bit of energy left, I want to figure out the sequence so I can come back and try and finish it up. So I'll spend a few more tries on it. All right, that is 3 tries on all the yellow tags. I have some to come back to for sure. But yeah, for these bigger volume days, I like to just limit my attempts and take it as kind of a sampling day to figure out the climbs that I'd like to come back to. That's my session. Thanks for watching and following along. I'll definitely come back and film myself projecting some of these other climbs so you can see more of a projecting process.